Welcome back to the channel, everyone. ThoughtGore here, of course, and today we are going to take a look at a battle in the Hindenburg. Yes, and what a battle it was. Now, what I'm attempting to do here, well, not really what a battle it was. It was a pretty good battle. But anyway, what I was attempting to do here was I was attempting to get 10 citadels. I've already got my Yamamoto captain, I apologize. And so now it's just a matter of finishing it up, right? Like, I've been doing the same thing with the other, I guess, I don't know what they're called. I forget, campaigns or those special things. Anyway, I've been doing the same thing, just trying to get them all finished for the rewards and the prizes and stuff. And, you know, basically what I'm doing. So that's what I'm attempting to do today here in the Hindenburg. And the Hindenburg is a great ship to do this with. I mean, she has, well... people say that the Hindenburg AP is pretty crap, and it's kind of true. And I know that that goes counter to what a lot of what I've talked about with the German cruisers. You know, probably what I've overlooked is the fact that with your German cruisers, and especially with the AP, they have a great alpha damage values, right? And so you can just pummel away at the superstructure of battleships, and you're just going to get like 5k damage every salvo, and it's going to be amazing. But when a ship is angled against you, it's going to be very hard for you to actually get a citadel with your armor piercing, because most times it's just going to bounce or break, shatter, you know, and not going to do anything. But when a ship is broadside to you, this armor piercing is God. It is amazing. I love it so much. And I love the Hindenburg. She's a great tier 10 cruiser. If you guys are wondering, you know, what tier 10 cruisers should I be working towards specifically for clan battles, I will tell you right now that it's going to be your Moskva and it's going to be your Hindenburg. The other cruisers are great. I mean, the Henry comes to mind as being an excellent cruiser in clan battles for flanking maneuvers. But if you just want a good all-around cruiser that is going to be pretty great in almost every situation, you're going to want your Hindenburg. Moskva is great as well. Obviously, you know, she's in there for the radar. Plus, Moskva is a pretty damn great ship as well. But anyway, Hindenburg. So we are on Warrior's Path as well. Now, this is an interesting map. Much like every other map in the game where it's domination, the B point is so critical to the actual play, you know, to the actual flow of the battle and how the battle is going to be determined. You have to take the B point. It is just required. You don't necessarily have to take it right away. You can see that I do have, you know, an allied destroyer in the B zone capping it right away. You don't have to take it right away, but it is going to be required eventually once, you know, things start getting decided here in the battle. So far, it looks like we are going to be going BC. You can see that we also have a energetic player on our team who likes to ping the map. I get annoyed by these people, and I'm sure you do as well. It's like, you know, you're in a destroyer or whatever ship you happen to be in, right? And it's the beginning of the game. We're just trying to get positioned at this point in time. I'm just trying to work my way closer without getting shot at. You don't have to ping the map to tell me that I'm in a bad position. I know I'm in a bad position. I'm attempting to correct it. And it's just... it just ekes me sometimes. It makes me very angry. especially when it's the dead people doing it. I'm sure we've all experienced it, where the person will die like first or second and then spend the rest of the battle, instead of exiting and going back to port and picking a new ship, the person will then decide, oh hey, I'm just going to tell everyone else how to play the game. Yeah, it's so annoying. But anyway, Bismarck off in the distance. So you can see that I was firing my armor piercing off of the player and not doing a whole lot of damage, right? And it brings it back to what I was talking about with the armor piercing. I know the Bismarck is pretty much bow on or broadside to us at that point, but at that distance, and with the turtleback armor of the Bismarck and the German battleships, your armor piercing is going to go in, and it's most likely just going to shatter and do nothing. Oh, and it looks like I minimized out of the game because I pressed the wrong button. Yes. Anyway, no big deal. So yeah, you're not going to get a whole lot of damage, you know, firing at that sort of range with your armor piercing. It is always better to switch over to your high explosive get that downrange, set some fires. Something else worth noting, I've talked about before, but always good to mention it again, when you are firing your high explosive, I don't have any sort of like proof or science or any of that stuff for this, but I do notice that it seems you have a better chance of setting a fire to an enemy ship if you cascade your shells in, if you fire one turret at a time, as opposed to a full-on broadside. I like doing full-on broadsides, you know, where you're firing all turrets at the same time, all guns at the same time. I like doing that when a ship is broadside to me, or if I have my armor piercing loaded. If I have my high explosive loaded, most times, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be firing one turret at a time and cascading those shells in. The reason for it is that I want the highest possible chance of setting fire to the enemy ship. So if I fire all my main guns at the same time at one enemy ship, that's one salvo going in, and I don't know how the math works. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But it seems to me that one salvo will go in and it has less of a chance of setting a fire as if you were to cascade it. Now, it's probably not an issue with the math. What it probably is that you have more shells coming in, hitting more spots on the enemy ship, and therefore having a greater chance of actually setting fire. That is what I think is taking place. So for that reason, I always recommend that when you're firing your armor or your high explosive, cascade it in. Fire one turret at a time. Essentially, you know, just hold your left mouse button and each turret will fire off. There you go. Armor piercing, I go ahead and fire a full salvo. That's generally what I do. But anyway. So the battle isn't going so great right now. You can see I have been taking some damage, but more importantly, the enemy has taken B. They are now, looks like they're regrouping and getting ready to push us out and away from B. So it's a really critical time right now, and we really do need to start dishing out some damage here to the enemy players. More importantly, securing that B cap. Now, looking at the minimap, we do see that one of my allied destroyers is in the B cap and is now capping it, which is great. But we know that there may be another enemy destroyer somewhere around here, right? We still have 4 enemy destroyers. There's an enemy destroyer that popped up. Something I was going to say, but that I didn't actually do. I was going to say, you should always shoot the enemy destroyers as soon as they pop up. And it's true, you should. There's no reason why you shouldn't, especially when you're in a cruiser. You're the one who's going to do the most damage to that enemy destroyer. Unfortunately for me, and in this replay, I don't listen to my own advice, and instead I get transfixed on that enemy battleship off in the distance, because it's like, oh, he's on such low health, just a little bit more and I'll kill him, then I'll switch to the destroyer. Yeah. I mean, in this replay it works out because I've got an excellent team behind me, and in fact we'll take a look at the scores when they come up and the battle is over, and you'll see that this team that I have is pretty damn fantastic. So we do manage to finish off the enemy battleship. Great, one of my allies got the kill. Perfect, whatever. No citadels as of yet, right? I'm still kind of looking around. I'm eyeing that hipper there off in the distance. The hipper isn't at a good angle for me right now for my armor piercing, so I won't be able to get any citadels most likely as of yet. But I'm still keeping the hipper in mind, right? We see the hipper over there. I've got my armor piercing loaded up. So we'll fire it off at the enemy battleship, and we'll hope that the hipper turns away from me, thereby presenting a broadside for me to take advantage of. This is what I'm hoping for. And you can see that I'm keeping my armor piercing loaded because I was hoping. Very much hoping. So we can see that the hipper is kind of turning, so we'll send off our shots. In the meantime, my allied destroyer was excellent in actually getting into the cap and capping it out. We see an enemy Baltimore. Oh, what's this? 5 citadels on the enemy hipper. Enemy hipper's dead, and the devastating strike. Wow, that very much surprised me. And there we go, there's another citadel. I believe that is a Baltimore, potentially. And so we'll get some, hopefully another citadel on that player as well. That'd be great. Baltimore, or no, I think it's Des Moines, and there's another 3 citadels on the Des Moines. So now we're up to 9 citadels, I believe. I only need 1 more and I'll complete the task. In fact, I remember having a conversation with This was months ago, I believe, with Bad Panda, and he was saying, how hard it was for him to get a battle with 10 citadels, and he was wondering what cruisers should he take out and get this done in. I told him that he wasn't looking hard enough, because there are definitely cruisers out there that will give you your 10 citadels in one battle without issue. The Hipper is one of them. But coincidentally, Bad Panda went ahead and took out the Henry and did it in the Henry. And the Henry is also a fantastic cruiser. I'm about 6 million credits away from purchasing my Henry. I've got all the experience ready to go to buy it, or to unlock it. So hopefully shortly we'll get some videos here on the Henry, but just quickly, the Henry is the only is the cruiser in the game that has the largest caliber of guns at tier 10. So I'm pretty hopeful for the Henry and seeing what she can do. I'm very excited, in fact, for the Henry. I can't wait for that ship. But anyway. Pushing into B, getting a little closer to the enemy ships here, just trying to get a better position so that I can take down some of these enemy ships that are on pretty low health, right? We see an enemy cruiser there in front of us, and I think it's a battleship behind the player, who are both on low health, and then we also saw another, I think it was another enemy battleship there off in the distance that was on low health, so, pretty good. We're going to see what we can get done. Now, I do have some smoke cover here from one of my allied destroyers, which is great, but we do see some torpedoes coming in, so we are going to want to try and avoid these torpedoes. Now, unfortunately, my allied battleship does eat torpedoes and some shots from an enemy and does go down, and it kind of sucks. But luckily for myself, I'm going to be able to avoid these torpedoes, or am I? Oh, God, stupid ThoughtGoer. Yeah. Oh well. We see the enemy destroyer there off in the distance, so I'm going to try and get as many shots as I possibly can. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, about the changes to smoke. You do have to, or if the smoke is close up, you can't necessarily get it in anymore and hide yourself. These changes have been in the game for a while, but I still have to remind myself about it all the time. So the enemy destroyer goes down. Perfect. One of my allies was able to take care of that player, so great. We have some more enemies here. It looks like they're doing a push to the south and probably then going to turn to the north to get back into B. And once again, this brings it back to Warrior's Path, right? And the importance of B. You really do need to get B. We have some more torpedoes coming in, so obviously there is a destroyer near us. We're going to try to avoid some of these torpedoes, but we are going to eat one. There we go. That is pretty unfortunate. We repair the damage and the flooding right away, so great, and we'll get our guns back up and running to hopefully set a fire to that Montana. We see the enemy destroyer, so now we got to kill the enemy destroyer. I have a Henry here in front of me, so this is great. Hopefully the Henry's going to take down the enemy destroyer. If not, maybe I will. Shots go in, take down the enemy Shimakaze. Perfect. So now we're on about 2 kills. That's not too bad. Over 100,000 damage as well, which is great. In my tier 10s, I always try to get over 100,000 damage. I know that I have the premium camo on the Hindenburg here, so it's not going to be that big of a deal in terms of credits, because that's usually my biggest thing, is I want to make money at the end of a tier 10 battle. But with the premium camo, obviously the repair costs go down. More importantly, with the repair costs down, the more money you're going to make. So the more damage I can do, the more money I'll make. That's what I'm attempting to do here. So we see an enemy cruiser pop out, and we're going to start engaging the player right away. Actually, enemy battleship, enemy Montana, not a cruiser, ThoughtGoer, not a cruiser at all. But the Montana's on very low health, so hopefully we can get a few shots into the player here and take the player down. Unfortunately for me, I did decide to turn at the same time, and this opens up a broadside. This is something that I'm notoriously bad for, is turning at the wrong damn time. Yeah, see? Oh, ThoughtGoer, when will you learn? But anyway, we did set fire to the Montana. Montana goes down, get ourselves a butt of flesh wound. Not too bad. 110,000 damage dealt, and only 9 citadels. I was so close to that 10. So close. Anyway, we switch over to my ally Henry here. We'll take a look at what the Henry's got going on with this enemy It is an enemy battleship, enemy Iowa, yeah. So not a great situation for the Henry to be in, obviously. Cruisers do not like to be this close to battleships. However, this close to the end of the game, it might work out. You can see the Henry player is turning, obviously in an attempt to get torpedoes off. Not something I would recommend doing. I think it would have been better to stay bow on, but luckily for my ally Henry, he did manage to get his torpedoes off, and in fact, hits the Iowa and takes down the Iowa. Excellent. So we switch on over to our allied Fletcher, and we are, just basically hunting down the last two enemy ships, hoping to get them gone for a nice victory for ourselves. We can see the Shimikaze has some torpedoes on its way for the enemy Bismarck, and of course the Bismarck is being occupied by the Lion. But there we go, battle is over, victory is ours. So we'll take a look at the team listing. The team did very, very well indeed. So my results weren't too bad. 531,000 credits earned, 110,000 damage dealt, 2 kills, not so bad. Second overall, but take a look at some of these results, right? There were 2 of us, myself and the Henry, who both managed over 2,000 base experience. And then for the majority, at least over half of the team had 1,000 experience each. Quite a good game, and again, it all came down to that B cap zone, right? We took it early, we lost it early, but then we capped it once again by mid-game, kept the advantage in points, took advantage of the enemy when they were making mistakes, and pulled out a victory. It doesn't happen all the time, obviously. In fact, this week I have been having the worst games I've ever had in ships. It's ridiculous, and it's made me think actually about doing another Ever Wonder video, because I have so many clips now of loading into the game and just getting obliterated right at the beginning that it might make for some hilarity. But anyway, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around watching it through. Remember to leave any comments you have for me in the video comment section below. Hit the old like button and hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. As always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.